Hi everyone, it's Lisa. Welcome to Proverbs Home. I am so glad you're here today and I hope you're doing great. I am actually working on organizing some of my bandanas. I've been cleaning out my top dresser drawer. I needed it really bad where it has all my socks, my bandanas. It was a mess. And I had to throw out some of those socks, you know, when you're walking without your shoes and they get kind of stained and then you try to wash them and you can't. And I normally don't donate socks unless they're in very good condition next to new. And I haven't worn them. I've only worn them once or twice and they're in really good condition. Then I'll wash them and donate them. Today we're going to be talking about prepping. And we're going to be talking about some great items that you can use for prepping that I would say if you don't have them in your pantry, you might want to go out and start prepping and get some and put them away in your pantry. Now, without me saying anything, I am going to say a few years ago, we all know what happened, right? And we all know that there was many people that were not prepared. If they had a week's worth of food, it was a lot. Why? Because sometimes, not all the time, everybody's circumstances is different, but sometimes people can be in the habit of eating out throughout the week. And that's one thing my husband and I have really slowed down on. We don't go out as much as we used to eat. We kind of stopped doing that because $30 here, $30 there, $20, whatever it is you're spending. And if you have 6 people in your family, that's a lot of money. And how can someone even afford with these prices to go out and eat? So my husband spoke to me one day. He said, we really need to slow down. My husband is the head of my home. He does lead in my home financially. Now I do work. I do. And I do have a say. That's how I believe. That's what God's word says. So I'm drinking mocha coffee. It's absolutely good. I've been drinking this all morning. You ever do that? Walk around with your coffee cup or your tea cup all morning and then you just pick it back up and continue where you left off? Kind of like a friendship, right? No questions asked. Well, that's me and my coffee. Now, when we were dating, I got to tell you this quick memory lane before we get on with this prepping video. When we were dating, my husband called me. This is right before we're going to get married. And he sends me this picture. And the picture that he sends me is of an old fire truck. And I'm like, okay, why is he sending me a picture of a fire truck? You know, we're getting married soon. You know, we have finances. We have things we got to put together. Why is he sending me this picture of a fire truck? Well, he calls me and tells me he's going to buy the fire truck and he's going to sell the parts off the fire truck. And of course, at that time, we were not married yet. We were engaged. And I was like, no, you can't do that. That's not, you're probably not going to have a good investment in doing that. Because I didn't know. You know, I'm thinking, old fire truck. Who wants an old fire truck? That was what I was thinking. But no, it was a great investment. He got all the parts off the fire truck and he sold all the parts and did great at it. And it was the best investment he ever made. This was years ago now. Okay, but it was a great investment. So what I'm trying to say, I let my husband lead in that area. He does lead in our home. He is the head of this home, and I thank God for that. It does not mean that I don't get to have a say. It does not mean that, you know, I have to beg all the time, or no, nothing like that. You know, I work, I enjoy it. I enjoy helping my husband, and he's very loving to me and is a great husband. A few years ago, we all know what happened. A lot of people were not prepared. Why? Because they were not saving anything. They were not putting anything away. Even if you put $2 a week away, it still can go toward your home and your prepping, your light bill, anything you have. You might think that's insignificant. You might think, oh, that's just childish. $2 a week. It'll teach us to have self-control. It teaches us to save. It teaches us to not go out and spend money all the time. Unless you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth. And a lot of us are not. Okay? My parents were blue-collar workers. They worked hard. And we work hard. And it's not handed down anything of privilege or anything handed down. The majority of people that work in this country work hard for what they have. Okay? And the sweat by their brow. Okay? So that's what I believe. But I think it's important to prep. I think it's important to be prepared. While I talk, I'm going to put this up. And we're going to talk about prepping and the importance of prepping and some items that I'm going to show you that I think are important to have. Now, rice to me is very important for prepping. Rice is a commodity that is a very good investment. Buying rice, you can do so many different things with rice. You really can. many things with rice that you can do with rice. Many meals you can cook with rice. Now, okay, I know there are those that don't like rice, but the majority of the people in your family probably like rice. And rice is actually a really good thing. You can make stir-fried rice, you can make Spanish rice, you can make like goulash with rice, with some nice ground beef and mix it together with some nice tomato sauce. You can make jambalaya. There's so many things you can do with rice that to me is so important. So rice is definitely a staple item in this home. Do you know that other countries where there are children that are starving, they send rice to those countries? Why? Because rice expands and you can feed a lot of mouths with rice. So if we're ever in a situation like the Great Depression, not saying that we will be, but you just never know. A few years ago, people were saying, put your money away, buy your toiletries, buy the things you need. And people were laughing at these preppers and saying, oh no, we don't need that, laughing at them, calling them names, to find out that they should have, that we should have. Now, I've been guilty of not paying attention. I've been guilty in my past, before I got married, lived on my own. I never thought of anything like that. Like, that never crossed my mind to prep. I never even thought of it. I went grocery shopping when I got paid. I had like the same routine all the time. And I never thought, my friends asked me to go somewhere, we go out to dinner, go to Applebee's, go to Fridays, wherever we want to go. And I never thought, you know what, that money that I'm spending on that meal, I can save that. Like, I never thought those things till I got older. Gotta use wisdom. For one, getting those canned goods. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, no, you shouldn't eat canned goods. Canned goods is not good. Okay. I would say eating out of cans all the time may not be good. But they are canned goods that are good. Like, for instance, these diced tomatoes. I like these because I can make soup with these. I can make spaghetti sauce. I can put some of these diced tomatoes on pizza. There's a lot of different things I can do with these diced tomatoes. So having some of those canned goods is a smart thing to do. Why? What if somebody in your family gets sick? What if somebody's in the hospital? We've had that happen in my family recent. And you have to run back and forth to the hospital to take care of your loved one. And you need those quick meals you can just throw together for your babysitter, for your kids, whatever it is. And you need to have some quick meals to put together, and you have nothing to put together. Now, I think the most important thing is ingredients. I think having ingredients, salt, sugar, flour, those kind of things. Having those ingredients in your home, oil, olive oil. Oatmeal is another thing that expands. You can make oatmeal cookies. You can make oatmeal like grain bread and have, the oatmeal that goes on top. You can make warm porridge. There's so much you can make with oatmeal. There's so much you can make with these canned goods if you're having a hard time. Now, I would tell you, we all live different lives. Not everybody lives where they have acres. But not everybody can actually have a garden in their home. Some people live in the city. Some people live in an apartment. So this is for you too. This is not just for a homemaker, well, if you're a homemaker, it doesn't matter where you live, because even if you live in an apartment, you're a homemaker, right? If you're home with your children, you're raising your kids, you're homeschooling, you're doing everything a homemaker needs to do. It's important to have ingredients. It's important to go out, get some toilet paper, put it away. I'm not saying wait till your toilet paper is running out and then run out and get toilet paper. Always have a nice 4-pack of toilet paper, maybe 2, put aside in case you need it. It's not about fear, it's about wisdom. There's a verse in the Bible that says, consider the way of the ant. We have to consider the ways of the ant. I think it says, consider the ways of the ant, O you sluggard. Consider his ways and be wise. Why does God say that? Because the ants, they work all the time. They gather food for the winter. And we're like ants in a way. We may not be as tiny, but before Almighty God, we're probably that tiny, right? But we need to make sure that we are storing. Now, I'm not talking about hoarding. I'm not talking about going out, running out, putting your family in debt, not paying, stealing from Paul to pay Peter, or whatever they say, to pay John. No, that's not what I'm saying. We've got to pay our bills, and the bills that we have that are important to pay, right? We need to have those paid. But we also need to use wisdom. And with the very little bit of money we get, or whatever you work for, or whatever it is, take that money. Don't go out to McDonald's. Fast food is not good anyway. My husband and I are learning that the hard way. From going to the doctors, we're learning that. Fast food is not good. Okay, so we're learning to stay home and cook our meals. We're eating from home. We're eating from scratch, and we are actually enjoying it. I'm enjoying it more than going out to eat. And it was funny because not so long ago, my husband and I, we were out, we were running errands, and he was like, let's just stop by Wendy's. By the time we get home, it's going to be late. So I'm like, kind of thought about it. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. And do you believe we didn't enjoy it? We didn't. Sorry, Wendy's. I like your little chocolate frosties, and I like your food. But the reason why was because we're getting so used to eating at home that it tastes different to us. When we did eat, we were like, I enjoy eating at home. Try to prep, even those canned peas, canned corn. I like to get these. I like to put them up and throw them in soup. And it always works out good. Now, we do have frozen vegetables and we have regular vegetables, but I like having the canned corn. I like throwing a meal together and having those extra canned goods in case it's going to be a really quick meal. But I think the most important is to have ingredients. Have your flour, your oil, your sugar. Even in the Bible, it talks about the woman that ran out of the oil that she was making bread. She ran out of the olive oil to make her bread. And God did a miracle. And then she had enough oil to go out and sell oil, because back then that was very important. People needed it to make their bread. Well, we need it now too. There's people that eat clean, and it's really good for you too. But it's also important to have certain things in case we ever get to a situation where we can't go out and get those produce. That we have something, that we're getting some kind of nutrition, like maybe chili in a can, things like that might have some protein. Beans that have protein. Those things are important to have. Even if you have one or two and that's it. But you have it and it's put away. And these are my bandanas. I was just kind of organizing them as we were chatting. And it was very cool here this morning. Very, very cool. And I decided it's time to start cleaning out my dresser, start organizing things. Our summers are very short here. Winter comes very quick here. So I'm trying to get my dresser drawers straightened out and stuff like that, and put these things away that need to be put away and get a little organized. But I wanted to show you this before I go. It says peace on earth. Now, I love this. You can put a hot teapot on here, and then the warmth makes the insides balsam inside. It makes it smell real nice, and I really like this. But I wanted to show it. It has the little white dove, and it says peace on earth. What's important that you enjoy your home, no matter how small it is. Maybe you live in an efficiency apartment, very small with just, I've lived in one of those before. I lived in a small efficiency. It was like a studio apartment. But it was my home. I was single and I enjoyed it. And I lived upstairs. The lady of the house, a lady owned the house, and I lived upstairs. And I remember she had these beautiful peacocks, and I will always see them. Peacocks, I think that's what they call them. I will always see them in the window. So it was beautiful living there. Even though my place was very small, it was still very nice, and I kept it up. So it doesn't matter where you live. If you have peace in your life, peace is not based on your circumstances. Peace is the peace that surpasses all understanding. And part of having that peace in your home, having the things you need, having those groceries, having those canned goods, having your fruits and vegetables. If you have to go to a pantry, go to a food pantry. Who cares? Who cares what anybody thinks when it comes to that stuff? I can't believe people will starve and not feed their family because they're too embarrassed to go to a food pantry. If I needed to go to a food pantry, I would go there in a heartbeat. No problem with me, because it's still God providing. So that's all for today. Remember to be prepped, to make sure you have your things ready, just because you just never know what tomorrow holds. Make sure you go out, get some toothpaste, get a couple of rolls of toilet paper that you could just put away to the side, get some some, your Tylenol, your acetaminophen, the things that your doctor says you need. I'm not a doctor, only you know what you can take and you can't take. But just get the things that you need, and don't forget to prep your home. And don't leave your coffee or your tea laying around, because it might just get moldy like mine did. God bless you, everyone. I love you all. Have a great day, and I'll talk to all my